So good to be with you again. Bill Pfeiffer speaking from Mary's Field. Always good news. We're never selling anything. All we want to do is hopefully to be able to share a little bit of the truth and something for your heart that lifts you up and gives you energy and strength to get through this day and the difficult times in which we live. There is a gift of speaking, and there's a charismatic gift of hearing as well. And maybe before you listen to this podcast, you might want to just stop and say to the Lord, help me to hear something today that will touch my heart or transform my life or those around me. I think that's an important thing to do. Christianity is all about motivation, isn't it? So I ask you for your prayers so that I can come to you with an honest, open, and humble heart. That's really an important thing. Apart from me, you can do nothing, Jesus says. No servant is greater than his master. No messenger outranks the one who sent him. And there's a beautiful section in John's gospel that says, whoever speaks on his own is bent on self-glorification. Isn't that the truth? I mean, you know that. How many people have you listened to in the course of your life and you knew they were just puffed up and sharing themselves? Politicians, that's all they do is build their ego, their self-centeredness, their, look at me, I'm a hero and whatever. And it gives them power, it gives them control, but not a good thing. Not for us Christians. We need to have a higher motivation. Christianity is always about motivation. That's why the Gospels have come to deal with all of our prepackaged ideas and prepackaged values. It challenges those, and that's really an important thing. So, the rest of that quote is, he who speaks on his own is bent on self-glorification. My ego is difficult to deal with. I ask you to pray for that. It's always wanting to get into the way and build my kingdom, build Pfeiffer's kingdom. And it's not my kingdom, it's the Lord's kingdom. And the rest of that, the quote is, the man who speaks to give glory to him who sent him, he is truthful. There is no dishonesty in his heart. Isn't that what we want from all of the people who speak to us? To be truthful, to have no dishonesty in their heart? That's really what it's all about, isn't it? Last night in the Divine Office, I was reading in the last antiphon in Vespers. Listen to this. Let all creation serve you. For all things came into being at your word. Let all creation serve you. From the microchip to the little molecules, to the ants, to the trees, to the universe, to the whole world in which we live, to the people around us. Let all of that serve you. I had to stop when I read that for about 15 or 20 minutes and let it melt into my heart. And I was different when that happened. I mean, let all of creation serve you. That's why we're here, aren't we? All things came into being at your word. That means we're just created. We've all just come into being. That's no small thing. And then we have to act as beings who have been created. I learned that when I was 6 in first grade. When I was 6, and you can say, well, I'm not, but it's my faith of my parents and the church and the community in which I was brought into said to me, Bill Pfeiffer, learn. God made me. Why did God made me to know Him? To know Him by reading the Scriptures, by praying, to love Him, to really hug Him because He loves me, and to serve Him. And here it is. Let all creation serve you. I learned that in first grade, 6 years old, September of first grade. For all things came into being at your word. Oh, mamma mia, that's just incredible stuff. So you want to, be present to all of the things that God is doing in your life. A quick story, as I always promise to you. One night, a man had a dream. He dreamed he was walking along the beach with the Lord. Across the sky flashed scenes from his life. Each scene he noticed 2 sets of footprints in the sand, one belonging to him and the other to the Lord. When the last scene of his life flashed before him, he looked back at the footprints in the sand. He noticed that many times along the path of his life, there was only one set of footprints. He also noticed that it happened at the very lowest and saddest times in his life. This really bothered him, and he questioned the Lord about it. Lord, you said that once I decided to follow you, you'd walk with me all the way. But I have noticed that during the most troublesome times in my life, there's only one set of footprints. I don't understand why, when I needed you the most, why would you leave me? The Lord replied, my precious little one, I love you, and I would never leave you. During your times of trial and suffering, when you see only one set of footprints, it was then that I carried you. Oh my, boy, do we make mistakes about all of that, don't we, huh? Can you let love, God's love you without waiting for some future moment when you become worthy of his love? Remember the words of Saint John of the Cross, love what God sees in you. He also said the beautiful words, God can't be thought, only loved. The other day, I came across a line, too, that I just had to stop for 15 minutes and allow it to sink into my heart. Think of me because I'm always thinking of you. Oh, Mama, just think of that. Think of me because I'm always thinking of you. And that's the truth. If he stopped thinking of us, we would disappear. If he stopped thinking about the rock or the trees or, the technology, it would just poof, it would be gone. And so he's always thinking of us, and he's begging us, to think of him while he's doing all of this while thinking and loving of us. So, come with ears willing to. We all have those prepackaged emotions that allow us to hear what we want to hear and keep us from hearing what we don't want to hear. We want to be open to allow everything that's possible to happen inside of us as we come in touch with this podcast, with the sermon on Sunday, with the book that you're reading, when you pick up the scriptures, when you're listening to sometimes to a piece of music. There's a line that just goes, it's just meant for you, and you know that, and you want to take that into your heart. Remember always, again, that if you want to be happy tomorrow, you got to do the truth and what's right today. That's true for all of us. Good to be with you. Keep me in your thoughts and prayers. I really need them. And also know that you're in mine always. Love you. God bless.